Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we will learn how to add shadows. CSS provides us with two options to add shadows, one for text and second for all other HTML elements. First, let's talk about how to add shadows to text. For this, we can use the text shadow property. Let's try an example to understand it better. Let's bring up our code editor. Let's say this is the text we've got, HTML5 course. Let's add some stylings. So let's add the text shadow property. So text shadow, and it requires two values, one for horizontal shadow and another for vertical shadow. So let's say 4 pixels by 4 pixels. Let's save it. As you can see, the text and the shadow have the same color, but we can change the color of the shadow. So let's try that. So to add color, we can simply add another value here, say gray. Let's save it. And now as you can see, we've got a gray colored shadow. But it doesn't look very much like a shadow. It looks more like a reflection of our text. It looks very sharp. So let's add some blur. To add blur, we can add another value here, say 2 pixels. Let's save it. And as you can see, that shadow looks a bit blurry now. Let's increase this value, say 4 pixels. And now as you can see, it looks more blurry. Let's increase it to say 10 pixels. And now as you can see, it's so blurry that we can't even tell what's written in that shadow. So the higher this value, the more blurry the shadow. We can add multiple shadows as well. So let's try that. Let's just comment this. All right, so let's give it a text shadow property. Let's say 2 pixels horizontal, 2 pixels vertical, 2 pixels blurry, and let's say the color is red. Let's save it. And now as you can see, we've got this red shadow. Now to add another shadow, we can simply use a comma and give values for the next shadow as well. So let's say 2 pixels, 2 pixels, and 2 pixels blurred. Let's say the color